Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Citra. Here, I will explain about virtual reality in learning. Have you ever heard of a medium called virtual reality? What is this virtual reality media usually used for? For playing games or to watch movie. What else can it be used for? Do you think virtual reality media can be used for the learning process? Everything will be answered in this video. Virtual reality in learning. The following are general learning objective and specific learning objective. General learning objective. After watching this video, audience can use virtual reality to learn. Specific learning objective that we will discuss at this time. Audience can understand the definition of virtual reality. Audience can name the types of virtual reality. Audience can explain how virtual reality works, and audience can explain the use of VR in learning. And this is the material that we will discuss one by one. First one, there's VR definition. Secondly, there's basic VR. Thirdly, there's types of VR. And next, there's the history of VR. So how VR works, and last one, there's how VR is used. Therefore, pay close attention to this video. Virtual reality definition. A technology that allows users to interact with the environment in a virtual world that is simulated by a computer so that they feel they are in that environment. Basic virtual reality. Virtual reality contains several important elements, namely virtual worlds. Virtual world is a computer-based simulation environment that can create a personal avatar so that the user can explore the virtual world as if he were using his own body. User use avatar in the form of screenplays and scripts. Immersion. Making user of virtual reality technology able to experience various sensations in the real world. When they are in the virtual world, immersion is divided into 3 types. Okay, first one is mental immersion. Mental immersion making the user feel like they are in real life, even though they are in the virtual world. And secondly, there is physical immersion. Physical immersion making user feel that they are physically in the virtual world atmosphere. And last one, there is mentally immersed. Mentally immersed, making user feel that sensation of. So there is sensory feedback. Sensory feedback serves to convey the virtual world to the sense of its user. With this element, the user can hear, see, and feel the touch made in the virtual world. So there is interactivity. Interactivity is function to respond to the action or presence of the user, so that object around can respond so that the user can interact with this object. Okay, so after knowing the basics, we also need to know the types of VR. Let's discuss them. First one, there's entry-level mobile VR. This type of VR is the cheapest device and has no electronic components. To use it, it is very simple. We only need a smartphone. An example of this type of VR glass is Google Cardboard. As are some virtual reality glass for other smartphone, this type is made of thick carbon paper and plastics, with a simple way of working that makes the price of this type cheap. Okay, so secondly, there is mobile virtual reality. Mobile virtual reality, this type of VR is almost the same as entry-level mobile VR because both of them use a smartphone as a processing source, but this type of VR is equipped with electronic components inside such as tracking and sensor, built-in control and focus adjustment, which add to the excitement when playing games. So the price is a little expensive. For example, this type of VR device is the Samsung Gear VR, which are used to add excitement and enhance the user experience while in the virtual world. Okay, and thirdly, there is high-level virtual reality. High-level virtual reality, this type of VR uses a computer as a processing source, and the price is also more expensive. A high-class VR is usually sold for 1 million to 10 millions. Even though the price is expensive, the sensation that this VR has a very when compared to smartphone-based VR device. An example of this type of VR device is the HTC Vive, where both use a computer as a processing source. Apart from the example above, no game consoles that use this device are PlayStation virtual reality. In addition to high-level virtual reality, there are also virtual reality devices that can be used via smartphone, computers, and game consoles. High-level virtual reality devices are amazing because they use game consoles and computers, compared to mobile virtual reality headsets that use smartphone. And last one, there is virtual mobile theater. This type of VR is used to watch movie on this device using a computer as a processing source. By using this type, the movie will feel like they are in a real theater with a big screen and immersive sounds. An example of this type of VR device from Sony, virtual mobile theater requires a processing source in the form of a computer or smartphone. By using this type of virtual world, the movie you play will feel like they are in a real theater with a big screen and exciting sounds. Of course, it will feel as real as if you were in the film.
What is the history of the development of virtual reality systems, VRS? Okay, virtual reality elements appeared in the early 1860s. French avant-garde director Antonin Artaud took the view that fiction is no different from reality. He advocated that the audience at a play should suspend disbelief and perceive the drama on stage as reality. In the 1950s, Morton Heilig wrote a theater of experience that engages all the senses in an effective way, drawing the audience into the activity on the screen. He built a prototype dubbed the Sensorama in 1962. The Sensorama is a mechanical device. Heilig also developed the patented Telesphere mask in 1960. The application gives the viewer a complete sensation of reality, i.e., moving three-dimensional images, which may be color, wide vision, sound, fragrance, or a gentle breeze. In 1978, the Aspen Movie Map was created. This program is a virtual simulation in which the user can roam the streets in one of three modes: summer, winter, or polygon. Summer and winter are based on photos from researchers. The photo actually captures every possible movement through a grid of city streets, and polygons are a basic 3D model of a city. Atari founded a research laboratory for virtual reality in 1982. But the laboratory was closed after 2 years due to the 1983 North American video game accident.
Okay, here is how VR works. To give an interesting and real impression, several supporting devices are needed, such as a VR box. The VR box is used to bring the user mind closer to the computer. The control function to capture all movement made by the hands and provides information on this movement to the virtual reality system. The walker function to capture all the movement made by the feet and convey the movement information to the virtual reality system. And we can use a headset to give the impression of clear sound effects so that the user is carried away by an atmosphere that looks very real. Not only for watching VR movies, it can also be useful for learning. First one is user can feel the sensation of real environment because this technology uses three-dimensional graphics. So secondly, with the help of VR, students can visualize abstract learning materials that are easier to understand. So thirdly, virtual reality is a learning medium that is more interesting and fun for students. And fourthly, virtual reality can increase student interest and motivation in the learning process. And last one, there is virtual reality can help students do practicum so that they can do it in class. And here are examples of using virtual reality in learning. One example of using reality in learning is in the subject of natural science, or it discusses the matter of the solar system. We can find VR videos on internet sites, but this time I will give an example of how to use VR videos sourced from YouTube, and here are the steps. Okay, the conclusion. People can use their smartphone experience what appears to be a giant environment thanks to the integration of virtual reality technology. Users can interact with product environment that not only looks real but also virtual. At the emergence of increasingly complex virtual reality equipment, users in virtual reality are becoming more precise and detailed. The Omnisphere treadmill allows users to record their foot movement and explore in the same virtual environment as they would in the real world. Although it is currently underutilized and relies on hands-on techniques, virtual reality can be used in education, particularly vocational education.
An additional regarding the history of VR. This prototype, which is built on top of other virtual reality headset shells, is only capable of rotation tracking. However, it boasted a 90-degree field of view previously unseen in the consumer market at the time. This initial design then served as the basis from which later designs would come. In 2013, Valve discovered and freely shared a low-profile display breakthrough that made VR viewing lag-free and load-free. On March 25, 2014, Facebook purchased Oculus VR. In the same month, Sony announced Project Morpheus, a virtual reality headset for the PlayStation 4 video game console. Google announced Cardboard, a do-it-yourself stereoscopic display for smartphones. Users place their smartphones in a cardboard cradle, which they wear on their heads. In 2016, there were at least 230 companies developing VR-related products. Facebook has 400 employees focused on VR development. Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Sony, and Samsung have all dedicated R&VR groups. In 1991, Carolina Cruz Nera, Daniel J. Sandin, and Thomas A. DeFonte of the Electronic Visualization Laboratory created the first cubic immersive space. It involved a multi-projection environment, similar to a holodeck, that allowed people to see their own bodies in relation to those of other people. Another in the room. In 1991, Sega announced the Sega VR headset for arcade games and the Mega Drive console. It uses an LCD display in the visor, stereo headphones, and inertial sensors that allow the system to track and react to the movement of the user's head. That same year, Virtuality launched and later became a mass-produced multiplayer VR entertainment system. The game was released in many countries, including a dedicated VR arcade at the Embarcadero Center in San Francisco. In 2010, Palmer Luckey designed the first prototype of the Oculus Rift.
How did you get here? If you understand virtual reality and its use in learning, or maybe you are curious to try it, just follow the step above. Good luck and have fun surfing in the virtual world.